DreAllDay.com.
Last week I met this dude. I was speaking somewhere and I met this dude and he was like, yo, you kind of, because I had on like sweatpants, I had on a t-shirt, and I had on a hat. And this dude was like, yo, you remind me of E.T. You ever heard of E.T.? I was like, yeah, I heard of E.T. I actually did a vid with E.T. back in 2012, and I was actually showing him the video. He was like, yeah, you remind me of E.T. And I'm like, all right, I guess because the way I look, and I guess he figured I was a motivational speaker or whatever. So then he was like, yeah, I'm going to look you up. There's a shirt had my website on it, DreAllDay.com, right? He was like, yeah. So he was going to look up my website. He was like, yeah, I'm going to see, when I start watching, I'm going to see if you got any of your stuff from E.T. And I was like, well, dude, first of all, I don't even watch YouTube videos. I know who E.T. is, but I don't even watch other people's stuff. And secondly, anything that you hear me say or him or any other speaker you listen to, none of it's completely brand new ideas. It just came out of nowhere. We all build on people who came the generation before, and they build on the people from before, and they build on the people from before. We just do it in our own way. We add in our own story, our own background, our own personality, our own character into it, but everything builds on something that came before. And that's the reason why I'm talking about this morning. So what I'm going to tell you are 3 ways that you're going to use. This is a 3-step process. So this is not three things you can pick and choose. This is a 3-step process. You got to follow all 3 steps when you see someone else using something effectively or doing something that you like, something that you might be able to use, how to use it the right way. So the first thing you got to do is identify who has it. So when you're looking for something that can help you get from where you at to where you want to go in any area of your life, your first step is to identify who has it, who has the information, who got the goods, who has the stuff that I need so I can get from point A to point B. So if you don't know who the person is who has it, then how you ever going to get it? First step is identify who has it. So once you've identified who has it, here's the second step. Second step is once you've identified that person is you gotta shut up and listen. You gotta listen to what that person is saying. You gotta watch that person. You gotta pay attention. You gotta consume the stuff that they putting out. They got a program or a product. Get the program or the product. If they put out a blog or a podcast or a Periscope, listen to the podcast, read the blog, watch the Periscope. You got to consume the information. Once you identify the person who has the information, you got to consume it. So it's not just, oh, I know it's over there or I know it's right there. But if you're not consuming it, then what is it doing for you? Nothing. And here's the third thing you got to do. And this is the point where most people get lost. You got to execute on what you see. Execute on what you learned. So you got to learn something, which means you got to be paying attention, not just knowing that it's there, not just looking at it, but watching it, not just hearing it, but listening to it. And then you got to execute on what you learn. How many people out there know a whole lot of stuff that they never execute on, so they never get anything done? Y'all know anybody like that? Like they know a lot of stuff, like they got access to a lot of information, but they never actually do anything with all the stuff that they know or all the people that they know or all the resources that they have. That's because they never, first of all, they probably weren't listening enough. So they didn't really get the information. They might have heard it, they might have known it's there, but they didn't really listen, so they never applied it. And then third, they never executed on it. You have to execute on the stuff that you know. So it's not enough to just know it, but you got to actually execute on the stuff that you know. So that is the 3-step process. It's very simple. I'm gonna take some questions here too. So let me recap those 3 steps, and y'all go ahead with your questions. Number 1 is identify who has it. Identify who has the information. Number 2 is you have to listen, watch, read, whatever that person or those people who have the information, whatever they're putting out, you got to consume that. And number 3, execute on it. So just because you know it, just because you read it and watched it, if you did nothing with it, then it doesn't matter. You might as well not even waste your time watching it or reading it or listening to it if you're not going to do anything with it. What's the point of even putting all that time and effort into consuming something if you're not going to use anything that you learned? It's like, why would you go to school if you're not going to use anything that you learned at school? I mean, that's not the best example because for the most part, we're forced to go to school. But y'all get what I'm saying. Why would you listen to this if you're not going to use anything that I'm saying? You don't have to do this. School, you kind of got to. But this, you don't have to. So don't waste time consuming something that you're not going to use and execute on. So let me take questions. My name is Dre Baldwin. For those people who don't know me, my podcast is called Work on Your Game. My Snapchat is at Dre Baldwin. My first name, my last name. At Dre Baldwin is my Snapchat. If you got questions for me, you can hit me via Snap. You can email me. My email is on my website. My podcast, my TED Talks are on my website. You want to learn about my basketball background, that's on my website. My books, links on my website. Everything else on my website. My website is called DreAllDay.com. Anybody got any questions? I'll take questions. How do you see failure as a positive aspect in life? How do you see failure? You tell me, Kevin. You tell me how you see it as a positive aspect. Because I doubt that you have no idea whatsoever. How do you execute on it? What if he doesn't put out his knowledge? Well, that's what I just said. The first step is identify who has it. The first step is identify who has it. Second step is listen. And then the third step is you execute on it. Do something with what you learned. So if you're asking that question, that means you might have misdone step number 1, which is identify who has it. And step number 2, which is consume the information, because they might have the information that can help you execute, but you may have conveniently ignored that information, maybe because it would have took you a little bit more time, maybe because it would have cost you a little bit of money. You weren't willing to invest in yourself, and that's probably why you ain't got it. When will this be up on YouTube? No time frame. It might not go up on YouTube, so you're just gonna have to, again, listen to the information that you got here. Hopefully you do something with it. Any other questions I could take? This is DreAllDay. I'll be on Snapchat today at Dre Baldwin. I'm doing a Snapchat takeover tomorrow with Whistle Sports. I'll post that on Snapchat wherever I'm going to be at, so y'all could all get on it. All right, everybody, have a great day. Do I think Draymond getting suspended is going to better the Cavs tonight? Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it? I mean, any team lose an all-star, I think that's good for the other team. I think anyone who watches basketball would agree with that. All right, everybody. My name is Dre Baldwin on Snapchat. That's where y'all can find me. My podcast, Work on Your Game. My website, DreAllDay.com. Everybody have a great day. Work on your game. DreAllDay. If you're on Snapchat, hit me on the Snap. My Snap name is at Dre Baldwin. You already know how that works. And I got a podcast, if you didn't know. It is called Work on Your Game. It is an everyday podcast where I talk about getting yourself into the right mindset, that bulletproof mindset. Getting yourself seen, heard, known. Getting the exposure you want and making things happen in your life instead of waiting for things to happen to or for you. Subscribe to that podcast. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Make sure you check it every single day. Make sure you're subscribed so you catch the heat. Work on your game.
Dre Ball, Dre Ball, Dre Ball. I feel like Dre Ball, Dre Ball, Dre Ball. I feel like Dre Ball, Dre Ball. I'm ballin'.